Bling, bling.
1, 2, 3, 4!
Señor Fancypants.
From an underground laboratory in Pennsylvania comes the Señor Fancypants Show, a family-friendly podcast with two amazing hosts, but only one of them has an appendix. Please give it up for Señor Brian Fancypants and Lincoln.
Oh, wow, thank you so much. It's great to see you. All right, you can have a seat now. We're going to get started. Hey, everyone. Welcome to episode 19 of the Señor Fancypants Show. It's been a long time since you've heard from us, and of course, there's a reason for that. It's not just because we're lazy. You see, when we were getting ready for this episode way back in July, Lincoln wasn't feeling very well, were you, Lincoln?
I wasn't.
Yeah, we thought maybe he had a stomach bug, but it turned out to be something a bit more serious. And after a visit to the emergency room, it was discovered that Lincoln's appendix was no longer interested in being part of Lincoln's body, and it needed to be removed. Now, obviously, I'm joking about Lincoln's appendix having feelings, as far as I know. He actually had what is called appendicitis. Isn't that fun, Lincoln? Appendicitis?
It's not fun.
Not fun at all. See, that's when your appendix becomes inflamed or swollen. And this is dangerous because your appendix can burst and cause an infection inside your body. Unfortunately, that is what happened to Lincoln, so it made things a little more complicated. Lincoln, I should have asked you this earlier, but what is an appendix?
Some sort of small organ in your body. But not in my body.
No, not in your body. Not anymore. But for the rest of us, you're right. It's a small organ attached to the beginning of your large intestine, around the area where your large and small intestines meet. It's a little tube-shaped pouch that's about the size of a small finger, so like maybe 4 inches or so. And it's inside of your abdomen, which is why at some point Lincoln started feeling some serious pain in his abdomen, and he was walking kind of funny. Do you remember that, Lincoln?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were walking kind of hunched over like an old man. It wasn't pretty, but obviously since Lincoln is sitting here talking to us right now, a human can survive without an appendix. We don't need it. And we don't really know what the purpose of an appendix is. There are some theories as to why we have one, but if lots of smart people can't figure out exactly what it does, I'm not going to try and guess. What I do know is that your appendix, if your appendix needs to be removed, you have to have surgery. And that's exactly what Lincoln got to experience. And it was super fun, wasn't it, Lincoln?
No, it really wasn't.
It wasn't? That's not how you wanted to spend your summer vacation, was it?
It really wasn't.
Yeah. You probably would have preferred the beach or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, some of you out there have probably experienced what it's like to have surgery, so you already know all about it. Lincoln, were you awake during your surgery?
No.
Of course not, because for many surgeries, you've got to be put to sleep using anesthesia, which is when a doctor called an anesthesiologist gives you a special substance that goes into your body to make sure that you don't feel any pain, and like I said, it puts you to sleep while the surgery's taking place. Lincoln, were you nervous before you had to go into surgery?
Not really.
You weren't that nervous?
Not too
Seriously?
much.
I was really nervous, but, you're my son, and I care deeply about you, but I was really nervous about it, but you were very brave, and it was awesome. Well, not the surgery, not having to get the surgery, but you were awesome. So anyway, a team of surgeons had to get that appendix out of Lincoln, and I'm not going to go into the details, but the surgery was successful. But Lincoln did have to spend quite a bit of time recovering at the hospital. How many days were you stuck in the hospital, Lincoln?
10 days.
10 long days. That is by far the longest Lincoln has ever spent in a hospital, and it's way longer than I've ever spent in a hospital. And on the first night, Lincoln had a roommate, but after that, he got moved to a nice private room with a much bigger TV. And I know it wasn't the most fun 10 days ever, but at least it was a really great hospital, so shout out to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. All of the nurses, doctors, and surgeons that we met there were fantastic, and the food was pretty good too. Was your food all right, Lincoln?
Yeah.
See, I got to go to the food court where the food was better, but yeah, I'm glad you liked yours. So, how did you spend all that time at the hospital? That was a long time.
I really just chilled sleeping, but
Just chilled sleeping.
I played some games.
Yeah. Now, I know that for some reason, you spent almost an entire day watching SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yep.
Yeah, do you remember that?
Yes.
You were still a little bit out of it, but I remember that. It's kind of weird, though. You've never really watched that show that much. But in the hospital, it was like 24 hours. Normally, I don't condone spending an entire day watching television, but when you have to get surgery and spend a long time in the hospital, I think you deserve it. Even if it's something as brainless as SpongeBob SquarePants. That wasn't the only thing you watched, though. There was other stuff. You watched a lot of DuckTales.
Yes.
And you also had your Nintendo 3DS with you.
Yep.
Thanks to me. And you had some books, so it wasn't totally boring, was it?
It wasn't.
After a while, it just kind of got old, though, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just glad that you're back to normal and that you're feeling good. And I promise that you will never have to get your appendix removed again, okay? I guarantee it. Now, if you're one of those people out there like Lincoln who no longer has an appendix, you're in good company. There are several famous people who have had their appendix removed, and it doesn't seem to have affected their talent at all. There are people like Tom Brady. Lincoln, do you know who Tom Brady is?
Yep.
Yeah? Who is he?
He's a quarterback for the Patriots.
Yes, the quarterback for the New England Patriots, which is a pretty good football team here in the United States. And also, a man named Elton John doesn't have an appendix, and he's pretty popular. Have you ever heard of Elton John?
Kinda.
Kind of. Well, he's a very famous piano player / singer-songwriter. Very, very famous. But he has no appendix. And you can't even tell. He writes great songs, in spite of his lack of appendix. And then there's Kelly Clarkson. Do you know Kelly Clarkson?
Yeah.
She's a famous pop singer, and she's a talk show host now. She has no appendix, and somehow she still manages to do all this stuff. And then, of course, there's John Mayer, who you may never have heard of.
I've never heard of him.
He's a famous guitar player, very, very talented. No appendix there either. Anyway, there's many other celebrities who don't have appendixes. Is that the word? Is it appendi? Appendixes? I don't know. We should look it up. All right, so now you kind of have an idea, you in the audience, as to why we took such a long break from the podcast. You know, Lincoln's been super busy with appendix removals and also getting ready for 4th grade, which started a couple weeks ago. But don't worry, though. You can expect a much shorter wait for the next episode. I'm already looking forward to it. But right now, we're going to take a quick music break. Today, we have a song from our favorite pirate in New Zealand. His name is Captain Festus McBoyle. We've played him on the show before, but this song comes from his latest album called Bubbles and Squeak, and the song is called The Little Things.
Enjoy!
The little things in life that make you happy. The little things in life that make you smile. The little things in life that tend to really float your boat. Well, they tend to make you happy for a while. Oh, the little things like sauce upon the table. The little extra strawberry in the cream. The little things in life that tend to really float your boat. Like the day you got to curtsy for the Queen. Because those little things in life that make you happy. The little things in life that make you smile. The little things in life that tend to really float your boat. Well, they tend to make you happy for a while. Oh, the little things like sauce upon the table. The little extra strawberry in the cream. The little things in life that tend to really float your boat. Like the day you got to curtsy for the Queen. Because those little things in life that make you happy. The little things in life that make you glad. The little things in life that tend to really float your boat. Make you grateful for the things you have had. Oh, the little things like sauce upon the table. The little extra strawberry in the cream. The little things in life that tend to really float your boat. Like the day you got to curtsy for the Queen.
Captain? What, Ratty? Can I play a solo?
Yeah, go on then.
Goodness me, a rat with a guitar! You're bleeding amazing! Little fingers and toes, your tail jiggling away, look at you go!
It's a bit cheesy.
Yeah, I think that's his feet.
Because those little things in life that make you happy. The little things in life that make you glad. The little things in life that tend to really float your boat. Make you grateful for the things you have had. Oh, the little things like sauce upon the table. The little extra strawberry in the cream. The little things in life that tend to really float your boat. Like the day you got to curtsy for the Queen.
That was awesome. Did you like that song, Lincoln?
Yeah.
Yeah, so go download that. That's Captain Festus McBoyle with his song The Little Things. Check it out. All right, now it's time for one of our favorite segments where we get to hear from some of you out there. It's time for...
Keith Brockway's question of the day.
Keith Brockway's question of the day.
So if this is your first time listening, this is the part of the show where our good friend Keith Brockway gives us a question to ask our listeners, and then we select a few of the answers to read on the show. If you want to participate in this segment, you just have to follow Señor Fancypants on Facebook and then wait for the next question. The question for this episode was, if you could take a road trip across the United States with any two famous people from the past or present, who would you choose and why? And the bonus question was, what snacks would you bring with you? All right, so first, of course, we have to read Keith Brockway's answer. And he wrote Stan Lee and Jim Henson. He said they are two of the most creative minds ever, and he would love to hear all about their lives and their stories as told by them. Lincoln, do you know who Stan Lee and Jim Henson are?
Yeah.
Kind of?
Sorta.
Yeah, Stan Lee is responsible for helping to create some of the most popular comic book characters of all time. Like, have you ever heard of Spider-Man?
Yeah.
The X-Men?
Yep.
Thor?
Yeah.
Black Panther?
Yeah.
Well, those are only some of them. There's so many of them. And then Jim Henson is the creator of The Muppets, which everyone loves The Muppets, right?
Yeah.
They're hilarious. Now, Keith wrote that for snacks, he would bring beef jerky, Funyuns. You ever had a Funyun, Lincoln?
No.
They're like these crispy onion chips.
Okay.
All right. Raspberry iced tea. All right. And a Reese's Fast Break for some peanut buttery goodness. All right. Good answers, Keith. Thank you. Let's move on to some other ones here. We got Kaylee, who you actually know. Well, you kind of know, Lincoln. It's a long time ago. Kaylee said she would bring Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson, who I wasn't really familiar with, but you probably are, Lincoln.
Yeah.
You know both of those people?
Yep.
Yeah. So Dove Cameron is an actress, right? And she plays... What does she play? Liv? Is that right?
Yeah.
Liv from Liv and Maddie. And she's also in The Descendants. What character is she in The Descendants?
Mal.
Mal. Okay. And then Sophia Carson, she's also in The Descendants, right?
Yes.
What's her character?
Evie.
Evie from The Descendants. All right. And for snacks, Kaylee said she would bring chocolate, strawberries, Pringles, and combos. Lincoln, have you ever had combos before?
No.
You have never had combos? Yeah, I don't think I've ever purchased them in your lifetime. Well, combos are these little cylindrical tubes made of pretzel or crackers, and then they're filled with some sort of flavored cheese product. I know that's probably not the best commercial for them, but you get the idea. Yes. Yeah, enjoy combos. Cylindrical tubes of pretzel or crackers filled with some sort of flavored cheese product. Buy them today. Yeah, they're not going to hire me. All right, Kira said that she would bring... Oh, this is a great answer. Kira said she would bring Paul McCartney and J.K. Rowling. Now, Lincoln, I know you know who Paul McCartney is, right?
Yeah.
He's one of the members of a little British band called the Beatles.
Yeah.
Which happens to be my favorite band of all time. That's a great answer. And then J.K. Rowling, I think she wrote some books. I don't know.
Yeah, she made Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. Oh, yeah, that's pretty popular.
And
All right.
and Fantastic Beasts.
Wow. All right, so she's probably got a little bit of money. All right, and Kira said for snacks she would bring apple slices and chocolate frogs. Chocolate frogs. Is that like chocolate-covered frogs? Because I'm not into that.
I would be.
You would try that? I don't think that's what she meant. Rowan said that she would bring Jojo Siwa. Do you know who Jojo Siwa is?
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard of Jojo Siwa. She's like a YouTuber, right?
Yeah.
And an actress and a singer.
Yep.
And then Rowan also said she would bring Katy Perry along, which is Katy Perry. Do you know who Katy Perry is?
Yeah.
She's a singer, a pop song artist. For snacks, Rowan said she would bring an assortment of chips and pretzels and some veggies like carrots. All right, way to be healthy, Rowan. That's the first healthy answer we've read. All right, moving on. Dawn said she would bring Abraham Lincoln and Martin Luther King. All right, that's the most serious answer so far. Those are some very important historical figures, so that would probably be a very educational trip, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Now, snacks. Dawn would bring Jelly Belly jelly beans. What do you think, Lincoln?
I approve.
You approve? I mean, what else would you bring for Abraham Lincoln? This would be a good opportunity for him to finally try Jelly Bellies. And Martin Luther King. Both of them have probably never tried them. It'll be a great trip. All right. Moving on. Dave Kelly said he would bring Walt Disney and Denzel Washington. Now that is a dynamic duo right there. See, Dave is a big fan of all things Disney, so that would be a good opportunity to get some cool inside stories about some classic Disney films. But Denzel Washington, that's very different. Denzel Washington, he's a famous actor. Have you ever heard of him, Lincoln?
No.
Yeah, he's very different from Walt Disney, but he's very talented, and I'm sure that would be an exciting trip. For snacks, Dave Kelly's going to bring chocolate-covered pretzels. That's a good choice. That's one of my favorite snacks as well. Have you ever had chocolate-covered pretzels, Lincoln?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say we got to get you some. All right, next up, Mike Williams said he likes to travel alone and not share snacks. Okay, well, I guess that leaves more room in the car for snacks. Good on you, Mike Williams. Casey said she would bring Tina Fey and Melissa McCarthy. You probably don't know who they are, Lincoln, do you?
Not really.
They're both pretty famous. They're actresses known for being really, really funny. So that's a good idea because you'll be laughing your way across the country. Good thinking, Casey. All right, Al Smith, a friend of mine, a great comedian, said that he would take Carson Wentz and Chris Pratt. I know you are aware of Carson Wentz, right?
Yeah.
Who's Carson Wentz?
The quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes, the Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl champions. Well, not last year, but the year before. And Chris Pratt, do you know who Chris Pratt is?
No.
Yeah. Because Al Smith said he'd bring Chris Pratt and Carson Wentz. Chris Pratt is an actor who plays Star-Lord in the Guardians of the Galaxy and Avengers films, and he was also in the Jurassic World movies. So you know who he is, right? A little bit.
Yeah.
You know him as the voice of Emmett from the Lego movie.
Ooh.
All right, that might be fun. And for snacks, Al Smith is, of course, bringing just beef jerky. Awesome. Well, thank you all for your responses. Sorry if we didn't get to yours today. Make sure to answer the questions for the next episode, and we just might choose yours to say here on the show. Lincoln, what famous people would you choose?
I would say Shigeru Miyamoto.
Shigeru Miyamoto. I'm familiar with that name. He created a little game called Legend of Zelda, amongst other games. What other video games was Miyamoto responsible for?
Mario, Star Fox, Pikmin. Those are some.
Have I played Pikmin? That's an old one, isn't it?
No.
That's a new one?
Yes.
All right. Wow, so he's created a lot of games, but here's the thing. Shigeru Miyamoto does not speak English, so that's going to be a long car ride, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm going to bring an English translator.
Not an English one, a Japanese one, right?
Yeah.
That's a good idea. So you're going to bring a Japanese man who's created lots of video games and a translator. Okay, well, what snacks are you going to bring?
Gummy bears and gummies and...
Just a bunch of gummies.
Yes,
Man.
and chocolate.
Well, I hope Shigeru Miyamoto likes chocolate and gummies. Awesome. Well, my answer is actually the same as what Kira said. I would bring Paul McCartney. And I would also bring, this is going to be interesting, I'd bring Macaulay Culkin, the star of Home Alone. You've seen Home Alone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just because I think it'd be really random. Paul McCartney and Macaulay Culkin. And I would probably just start quoting Home Alone, and I'd probably annoy Macaulay Culkin. But that's all right. And we'll probably listen to the Beatles. I'm sure Paul McCartney would love that. All right, well, it's time for a quick alphabet break, sponsored by the Boogers.
Now I say my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me?
All right, now you know your ABCs. So Lincoln informed me during that short break that earlier when I said that Dove Cameron played Liv from Liv and Maddie, that she actually plays Liv and Maddie because the show is about twin sisters. See, I'm learning. All right, so now it's time for what, Lincoln?
Our place of the day.
There you go. It's the part of the show where we choose a place in the world and then tell just a few facts about that place. For this episode, we chose a beautiful place in the Caribbean called Puerto Rico. Although it is not a U.S. state, it is controlled by the United States government. It's officially a U.S. territory. Now you might be wondering where Puerto Rico is. If you want to find Puerto Rico on a map, put your finger on Miami, Florida, then drag your finger in a southeasterly direction, go past Cuba, and then go right through Haiti and the Dominican Republic, and then you should see Puerto Rico there. It's about 1,000 miles from Miami. So there you have it. But here are just a few more facts about Puerto Rico.
The capital of Puerto Rico is called San Juan.
San Juan, Puerto Rico, is home to nearly 400,000 people. It is by far the largest city in Puerto Rico. It is also the oldest city there, so if you like history, you might want to check it out.
Puerto Rico is an archipelago.
That might be a new word for some of you out there. To put it simply, an archipelago is a group of islands. The majority of Puerto Rico's people live on the main island of Puerto Rico, but there are a bunch of other smaller islands that surround it. Most of the islands are uninhabited, meaning people don't live there, but a few of them are inhabited. Lincoln, do you know any other examples of an archipelago?
Hawaii.
Yes, that's right. Hawaii is definitely a collection of islands, so it is an archipelago. All right, next fact.
The official languages of Puerto Rico are Spanish and English.
Spanish is by far the most common language spoken in Puerto Rico. Lincoln, do you know any Spanish?
Not really.
You know a little. Do you know how to say hello?
Hola.
What about goodbye?
Adios.
Adios. All right, you should have watched more Dora the Explorer when you were younger. All right, let me teach you an important phrase that will help you when you travel to any Spanish-speaking country. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, listen up. Yo plancho mi ropa con mi perro.
What does that mean?
It means I iron my clothes with my dog.
How's that gonna help me?
I don't know. All right, tell me something else about Puerto Rico.
Over 60% of Puerto Rico is covered in mountains.
So if you like beautiful mountainous islands in the Caribbean, you just might enjoy Puerto Rico. The highest mountain peak in Puerto Rico is called Cerro de Punta, and it is 4,390 feet tall, which is about 1,340 meters. It's about 3 times as high as the Empire State Building in New York.
Puerto Rico is famous for its beautiful beaches.
So if you like mountains and beaches, Puerto Rico is definitely the place for you. Puerto Rico has about 270 miles of beautiful beaches. That's about 450 kilometers. There are nearly 300 different beaches to choose from. If you hate beaches, you should probably pick a different place to have your vacation. Maybe you should check out Idaho instead. No offense, Idaho. We love your potatoes.
Puerto Rico is home to a very loud frog.
The unofficial mascot of Puerto Rico is a cute little frog called the coqui frog. The male coqui frogs make a really unique and interesting sound. All right, I'm going to try and play that sound on my phone. If it doesn't work, I'm just going to add it in later, but here it is. I got this off YouTube. Don't tell anyone. You hear that, Lincoln?
Yeah.
That is the sound of the coqui frog. Kind of weird. So, some people find that sound very annoying, but many Puerto Ricans are very proud of their unique frogs. So if you're visiting Puerto Rico, the coqui frogs might keep you awake at night until you get used to them. All right, Lincoln, we got time for one more fact about Puerto Rico.
People born in Puerto Rico are U.S. citizens.
That's right, you don't need a passport to travel between Puerto Rico and the United States. Puerto Rico became a U.S. territory way back in 1898 after the Spanish-American War. And on March 2nd of 1917, the people of Puerto Rico were granted U.S. citizenship. So if you don't remember anything else I said about Puerto Rico, don't forget that. People born in Puerto Rico are U.S. citizens.
People born in Puerto Rico are U.S. citizens. Let me say it again so you don't forget they're U.S. citizens.
Everybody!
People born in Puerto Rico are U.S. citizens. Let me say it again so you don't forget they're U.S. citizens.
That song was brought to you by cranberry juice.
Are you sick and tired of drinking delicious fruit juice that doesn't have a disgusting bitter aftertaste? Then you'll love cranberry juice, available now at the store. All right, it's time once again to learn about an animal, because as we all know,
Animals are cool.
Animals are cool. Here are some facts about one of them.
All right, Lincoln, what animal did we choose for this episode?
Bats.
We chose bats. All right, Lincoln, are you afraid of bats?
A tiny bit.
Yeah, a lot of people are. I guess we associate them with Halloween and vampires and stuff, but it's not their fault they look kind of creepy. I happen to think bats are very cool, and it turns out they are actually quite helpful. So without further ado, here are 6 quick facts about bats.
Bats are the only mammals that can fly.
There are several mammals that can glide through the air, but bats are the only mammals capable of continuous flight.
Bats are not blind.
Many of you have probably heard the phrase, blind as a bat. Well, it turns out that phrase doesn't make much sense because bats can see just fine. In fact, most bats can see just as well as humans. Most bats are nocturnal though, so their eyesight doesn't help them very much when they're hunting at night. Luckily, many types of bats are able to find their way in the dark using something called echolocation. That means they can listen to the echoes that bounce off objects, and they're somehow able to tell exactly where things are. It's incredible.
Bats eat a lot of bugs.
Bats can eat as many as 6,000 to 8,000 insects in one night. That's insane, but that helps to control the insect population. While most bats do eat insects, there are some that like to eat fruit, and there's also some bats that eat lizards, frogs, and even birds.
Bats only have one pup per year.
A pup is what you would call a little baby bat. Such a cute name for something that so many people are afraid of.
Bats are very important for pollination.
There are hundreds of different fruits that depend on bats for pollination. If you like bananas, mangoes, and avocados, then you should be thankful for bats for helping spread those seeds for those fruits and many others. All right, one more fact.
Bats come in many different sizes.
One of the largest bats in the world is the Malayan flying fox in Southeast Asia. It has a 6-foot wingspan and weighs about 2 pounds. The smallest bat in the world is called Kitti's hog-nosed bat, also known as the bumblebee bat. They are found in western Thailand and southeast Myanmar. You should look them up. They're really cute. Probably one of the cutest bats. They're about the size of, well, a bumblebee. That's why they call them bumblebee bats. Or like the size of a coin. So yeah, check them out online. All right, that's pretty much all we have for today's show. Now we're going to go and start putting together the next show. And I promise you won't have to wait as long for the next one. Lincoln, what do you think we're going to talk about next time?
Not sure.
Yeah. See, I heard something interesting recently about the Apollo 11 moon landing that I want to mention next time. I heard a rumor that they left 96 bags of poop on the moon. That's pretty weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to go do some more research about that, and I'll let you know what I find. So, all you listeners, tune in next week for some moon poop discussion. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 19 of the Señor Fancypants Show. We really do appreciate your support. Make sure to check the podcast details for links related to stuff from this episode. If you get a chance, send us a message on Facebook and let us know how we're doing. We're still in the process of figuring out this whole podcast thing, so please let us know what you really like about the show, or if you have any other comments or suggestions. And if you do really enjoy the show, please share it with your friends.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to end the show with a song from the latest Caspar Babypants album. The album is called Flying High, and here is a really fun song from it called Ants Can't Dance.
Jitterbugs boogie, flies do the tango, centipedes twist, spiders do the mambo. One kind of bug is too shy to try. Ants can't dance, ants can't dance, ants can't dance. Those poor ants don't know how to boogie, no idea how to shake their booties. Ladybugs all ask 'em, but it's no, 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 no. Ants can't dance. Ants can't dance. Ants can't dance. Even though they can't, they all wish they could. If one might, then the other ones would. Who's it gonna be to help the other ants feel free? Ants can't dance. Ants can't dance. Ants can't dance. One little ant starts to shimmy. Everybody knows him. His name is Timmy. He grooves and moves all over the floor, and now it's not true anymore that ants can't dance. Ants can't dance. Timmy is amazing in his bright white suit. All the other ants, they start to move and groove. They dance all night and into the day, and now you don't hear anyone say, ants can't dance, ants can't dance,